Excuse me. Hi. Can you explain your politicians make crappy doctors sign?
Policy. When you develop policy without the knowledge of what's going on, that's for any area. This is specifically medically. Policy doesn't really have the knowledge base that you need in order to do something effectively and properly.
You did hear about the politician in Missouri that said a woman's body can shut down rape sperm, right?
We did, yes.
There is no such thing as...
We did, yes.
So that's what we're saying. He's a politician. He knows nothing about women's bodies. He should not be legislating for women's bodies.
What about, are you a supporter of Obamacare?
You mean health care for my daughters once they graduate from college?
The Affordable Care Act?
You mean health care for people that have pre-existing conditions? You mean health care that's cheaper? You mean health care that includes women's regular visits for free? Yeah, sure, of course.
So some people classify Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, as a government takeover of health care, government meaning politicians getting in between doctors and patients. Do you think that's the same thing?
Politicians getting between patients and their doctors.
So you would say Obamacare is not the government getting between the doctors and their patients?
Affordable care, not Obamacare.
Yeah,
I called it both, but
No, it is affordable health care, not Obamacare.
And
why does Barack Obama say it's Obamacare?
And it's the best thing that's happened.
So why don't you should probably get on board with that instead of thinking that you're coming here to try to disenfranchise something that's not even
I'm asking simple questions.
We know where you're coming from. That's okay. We know where you're coming from.
I'm just asking questions. I mean, like I said, some people say that Obamacare is a government. They're wrong.
They're wrong because politicians should not be legislating when women have access to health care. Doctors should be deciding when women have access to health care.
Did you see the report about a year ago when the government said that women should be getting mammograms less than they were and they shouldn't be getting them yearly? What do you think about that, the government saying that?
You know, I spend every summer in England where they have national health care. We are the only industrialized country in the world. No, let me put it this way. Of all of the industrialized countries in the world, France, Germany, Japan, Spain, Sweden, Norway, you name them, we're the only one without national health care. And we have the highest infant mortality and the lowest life expectancy. So I'm thinking our health care system isn't working.
Why do you think people come to the United States for major procedures then? They don't get them done in England or Canada.
They come here for major procedures, but that's specialized procedures. That's not regular health care. That's not the health care where you wake up in the morning, you have a sore throat, and you need to see a doctor. They're two entirely different things.
Okay, so would you say nationalized health care is a good thing for regular things like sore throats, or would you say it's a bad thing for major procedures?
No, I'd say it's a good thing for every American.
Even though people from Great Britain and Canada come to the United States for major procedures?
That's actually not true. The studies show that the people from Canada that come here, generally speaking, have their procedures right along the border, and they're usually here on vacation. So there's very, very little evidence of people coming here.
So people come on vacation in the United States to have major medical procedures?
No, they're here on vacation and something happens to them, like an appendix attack or something, and they go to the hospital.
What about a brain tumor or cancer?
You know what? Canada has doctors, England has doctors, France has doctors, Germany has doctors, Sweden has doctors. They can all handle brain tumors. Very few people from those countries come to the United States. People come from India and Saudi Arabia in the Middle East, but they don't come from industrialized countries. They've got better health care than we do. They've got lower infant mortality, longer life expectancy, less maternal mortality. Our health care isn't working for people.
So I assume that you're pro-choice, right?
I am pro-women being able to make decisions about their bodies.
So you just talked about how we have a lower infant mortality, or a higher infant mortality rate than, say, England or Canada.
Yeah.
But how can you have an infant mortality rate at all if you're aborting children before they're born?
I don't understand your question. What does that mean?
If you're taking children,
do you know what infant mortality rate is?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
It's when infants die before they're 2 or 3 years old.
Right, after birth.
Right, after birth. So how can you have an infant mortality rate if children are dying inside the womb as a result of abortion?
The point is that of the babies that are born, we have a higher infant mortality rate than any other industrialized country in the world. If you want to include abortion, it gets higher, but you don't have to. The statistics will still tell you the same thing.
So you're concerned about infant mortality rate, but you're not concerned about babies being aborted before they're born?
You're talking talking about blastocysts. You know that, right? And you know that more naturally occurring abortions occur than physician abortions, right? You do know that, right? That women's bodies regularly discharge fertilized eggs. You do know that.
Yes, that's a basic biological.
So I'm not even sure what the difference is.
So you don't see the difference between abortion and a child being born and dying infant mortality?
I don't see the difference between abortion and the fact that a body ordinarily discharges fertilized eggs. That's God's.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
And I didn't know where you were coming from. Don't